Hello, hello. Happy Monday. How is it going out there? So, in today's call, on today's live, I really want to talk about mindset. And the reason that I want to talk about this is that it is so foundational for absolutely everything. So, if you are someone who is struggling with health issues, your mindset plays a huge role in whether or not you're okay. I got a little bit confused there with the live stream. Okay, so welcome, welcome. Happy Monday. I like to think of Mondays as kind of like mindset Mondays. And so, what I wanted to do today was I wanted to talk specifically about mindset. And the reason is that no matter what it is that you're trying to do in your life, whether you're trying to create better health for yourself, whether you want to build more financial abundance, whether you want to build a successful business, you absolutely need to be working on your mindset. And so I'll start with this. Yesterday I had brunch with my usual Sunday crew, and one of the ladies got back from a retreat. She got back from a Dr. Joe Dispenza retreat. If you've watched my videos, you've heard me talk about Dr. Joe multiple times. And one of the things that she shared with our group is that she had been dealing with this particular health challenge. And she learned in the retreat of how to actually speak about it in such a way that she is not limiting herself and she is not telling herself and reinforcing the story, right? And one of the things, and she shared with us that this particular challenge that she's had ongoing for years has now completely gone. It's completely disappeared. And so mindset is so foundational. And for myself personally, the first thing I do every single morning before I do anything else is I do morning meditation and I set an intention for my day. And that is how I start every single day. And I have started that way for years. Most people are so stuck in a story. And that is the story that they keep repeating themselves to themselves. And that is the story that keeps perpetuating in life. Remember, thoughts become things. And it's that energy that we put out into the universe, that we put out into the world, that keeps ricocheting back to us, and it appears to be true. So if you keep saying certain things, and you're going to continue to experience those things because that is what you're putting out into the universe, right? So, for example, a lot of people have money blocks, right? And they love anytime the cost for something comes up, they love to say, "Well, I can't afford that. I don't have the money for that. Oh, that's too expensive. It's not in my budget." Right? And they have all of these limiting stories. Not for a second do they pause and go, I wonder how I might be able to bring that into my experience. I don't I wonder how I could make that happen for myself, right? What would that look like? So as soon as you start to change your language around things, it changes how you experience life. First of all, whenever we say, "Oh, I can't, I don't, that's too hard for me," you know, there's like a heavy energy to that, right? There's a limited energy to that. And so what tends to happen is, you're not that motivated, right? If I say, "Oh, I can't do that, I can't afford that, that's not in my budget," then I can actually feel within my body where I start to contract, right? And as soon as we start to contract, we have this what how should we say this? We have this experience of lack, and that experience and that thought usually tends to lead to more of similar type thoughts of not feeling good enough, not feeling like you can do certain things. And that goes on a perpetual cycle, right? Cycle of belief, of pattern. So all beliefs are just thoughts that we could keep repeating to ourselves. And if you're wanting to create a different type of life, a different type of experience, whether that's in your health or in your finances, you need to actually start to open up to different types of thoughts. Now, sometimes, depending on what type of thought pattern you've been locked into, it might be too big of a switch to go from, hey, I'm broke, I don't have the money for that, and whatever stories you're telling yourself, might be too big a switch to go from that to like, I am infinitely abundant, right? That might be too big a shift for you to handle. So the way to actually go about it is to actually think, okay, well, um, what what is the next better feeling thought? What is the next better feeling thought that is going to allow me to start to feel better and more open and more expansive and not feel as limited in my experience or to be tied to that story? So, one of my personal experience with this has been that when I was when I was at my lowest point back in 2014, or I would say one of the lower points in my life, I don't know, had some white stuff in my hand. What is the next better feeling thought? So I had a little mantra that I would repeat to myself every single morning with tapping statements. And it was a bunch of like phrases of I am healthy, I am talented, I am successful, I am enough, I am grateful. And at the time, I felt none of those things. I really didn't. I was at such a low point in my life. But every morning I would get up and I would do that after my morning meditation. And at night, before I went to bed, I would write out 3 to 5 things that happened over the course of the day that I was grateful for. And as I was going to sleep, I would kind of like think about those things, relive them a little bit. And then at some point in time, I would always fall asleep. Let's see if I can get my EMF protection on. Um, and so I would go through that ritual every single night before I went to bed. And lo and behold, here we are 10 years later. All those I am statements that I used to say to myself, well, actually, I still say them to them. I still say those statements to myself every single day after meditation. But the difference now is that all of those statements have actually come to life, right? And the reason that I'm sharing that is that oftentimes when we start these practices, maybe we're not in the best I'm going to give up. I'm going to give up on this. Maybe we're not in the best place financially or in our mindset or in our health, and we because the thing that we're trying to work on hasn't like come to pass, we give up too soon. So the other thing I'm going to say with any of these practices is consistency is key. It has to become a part of your life. It's not something that you do once and you never do again. Like if you truly want success for yourself and you want, whether it's financial success or you want to feel healthy in your body or whether you want to attract a partner into your life, whatever it is that you're wanting to create for yourself, you actually have to be consistent in changing your mindset around those practices. So, for example, let's say that you're wanting to attract a partner into your life and you have been single for ages, right? Every single time you see people who are in relationship with each other, instead of thinking of the fact that you don't have a relationship and going into lack or being resentful of the fact that people around you are in relationships and you're not in a relationship that you want to be in, one of the ways that you can actually start to change your own mindset and also start to change your frequency and start to attract the possibility of a relationship is for you to actually celebrate the fact that there's people around you that are in happy, healthy relationships and bless them. Bless them. There's a coach that I used to work with, who used to always say bless, like just bless people, bless for whatever is happening, just bless them. Right? But what that is actually doing within you is it's removing resistance, right? Whenever we have um, kind of a negative mindset around certain things, what we're actually doing is we're creating resistance within us internally. And that's going to keep creating that story in the 3D reality, right? So if I am resentful of other people having relationships, I'm going to put that resistance within my body, and that's what I'm going to attract into my life. So let's go to the health thing, right? A lot of people struggle with all kinds of chronic health issues. A big part of overcoming health issues, yes, diet is a part of it, detoxification is a part of it, but you have to also start at the mind, right? If you don't work on the mindset, then it's going to be very, very difficult to create the healing within the physical body. The everything that our we are thinking reverberates into all of our cells. We've got about 75 trillion cells roughly, and whatever thoughts we're thinking are vibrating through our cells. So if your desire is to create health, but you keep thinking about how sick you are, and the story behind your illness and why you're in the state that you're in, you're going to keep perpetuating that story in the 3D manifestation. That's what your cells are going to take on, that belief, and you're going to keep creating that pattern. That's why sometimes I have met with people and or had clients or even know people in my life that I'm friends with, and their diet is pretty good, they're moving, they're doing all the right things. And yet when I talk to them about what's going on in their body, there's this big story. There is the story behind why they're in the state that they're in, why things can't work for them health wise. And that story is what they're attached to. And until they release the story, the body will not get into the state that they're wishing for. So becoming mindful of our thoughts in every aspect of our life is the most important thing that anyone can do in terms of improving the quality of their health, the quality of their relationships, the quality of their finances, every single thing, right? So let's even talk about relationships. Let's say that you are someone who is in relationship with someone, and like you're married, you've got a boyfriend, you've got a girlfriend, you've got a significant other, and there are certain problems within that relationship. The more you continue to focus on the problems and what's wrong, and especially if your story is that that person you're with needs to change certain things in order for the relationship to be better, then you're going to stay stuck in that cycle. The only way that things are really going to shift is if you start to shift your thinking around it. So instead of looking for problems, look for what they're doing that is amazing, and actually take the time to compliment them, to thank them, to celebrate them. And you will start to see whatever shifts that you're looking for, those shifts will start to happen. And maybe they don't happen right away, right? But you're changing your energy around the relationship. You're changing your energy around how you approach things. And as you change your energy, what is going to happen in the relationship is also going to change, because we're energy beings, right? We respond to energy. And so when you're in relationship with someone, that other person is going to respond to your energy. So if your energy is more softened, it's more loving, it's more compassionate, that's the energy that is the energy that they are going to be responding to, right? So mindset in terms of how you approach everything. So, here are a few things that you can start practicing right away, right? So, whether you can do this for your health, you can do this for your finances, for your business, you can do this for relationships, whether it's friendships or even if it's someone that you're married to or in a partnership of some kind. And that is to actually take a moment and really think about, how do you want it to be, right? Like, what is the state of health you're looking for? What kind of um, success are you looking for in your business? What kind of financial abundance are you looking for? And start to write out, what are the experiences that you want to be having in whatever areas of your life. So usually it has to do with health, wealth, finances, relationships. Those are kind of like the key areas for all of us that we were, working on in a way. So as you take a moment, grab a journal, take a moment and actually write those things out for yourself, then what we're ultimately looking for is to have an experience, to have a feeling within ourselves of, you know what do we want? We want peace, we want love, we want harmony, we want to feel good, right? Those are generally, like, when we're looking for certain experiences in our life, those are the feelings that we want to experience within our body. So what you want to do is, as you write this stuff out, visualize and allow yourself to actually think about, like, how would it feel if you had the health that you were looking for? How would that feel within your body? And then look for look for some space or some place within your body where you are actually experiencing that right this second. Right? So look for where you're experiencing that right this second, and allow yourself to fully be in that experience, and then see, as you focus there, can you notice that area of well-being expanding outwards? And that's what you want to keep going back to on a daily basis. Even in terms of, money. Money is a big thing. For a lot of people, money is a big challenge. It's a big struggle. And so one of one of the things that you want to be doing when it comes to money is actually being in a state of gratitude. Being in a state of gratitude for, the fact that you've got a roof over your head, you've got food on your table, you're able to pay your bills. And if you can be in a place of gratitude, you will find that you'll find ways to attract more abundance into your life. Now, that abundance may not necessarily always look like dollars and cents, right? It could look like, somebody treats you to a meal or to a cup of coffee, or a friend gives you a gift, or you have, an experience that you're gifted. It could be any number of ways that this can show up in your life, but really stepping into that idea of abundance and being grateful for whatever it is that you're experiencing. So, something that I love to play with is when I go to pay a bill. So, oftentimes, people don't like bills, you know, and as soon as you have like a negativity around paying a bill, that's actually putting up a resistance within you towards money. So, one of the ways that you can undo this for yourself is actually be grateful for the bill. So, when you go to pay the bill, be thankful that you have the ability to pay it. And then actually take it a step further and then think about, when you pay this bill, there are people, whatever company you're paying that bill for or whatever you're paying for, there are people who are on the receiving end of that. And as a result, they are able to, pay their bills. They're able to pay for their rent or mortgage or car payment, or put food on the table, or take their kids to, sporting events, or, like, kids sporting events and all activities and stuff like that. So for example, I have someone who works on my team, and she does administrative stuff. And I know that by me having her working with me, I know that she has the ability to take her 3 daughters who are all playing sports. She has the ability to take them to different practices and tournaments and all of that. She's able to do that because I pay her, right? I pay her to do certain things for me. And as a result, she has like freedom within her schedule. She can be present as a mom when she needs to be, and she can do the things that are important to her. So it is really, really important that we start to look at money as a way of exchanging energy and as a way of literally, if you think of this phrase, paying it forward in a positive way. And remember that this planet is made up of roughly 8 billion people. And when we have the ability to help others in whatever way, we're actually helping to make this world a better place. And so going back to this idea of your bills, every single time you have the opportunity to pay for something, number one, be grateful that you have the ability to pay for something. And number two, really think of who is going to be on the receiving end of you paying that bill. So even if I think of like, my internet provider, we're doing this on a live stream on YouTube, right? Um, there is an internet service that has to be provided for in order for me to live stream this from my home office. And so that internet provider has individuals that work for them. Yes, it's a corporation, but corporations are just kind of made up of people. And so those people, they are providing a service, and I get to be able to support them by having my internet service in place. So that's some of the ways that you can actually change your energy around money and come into more of a place of gratitude. And if you can actually do that on a consistent basis, then you're going to start to notice that there's going to be more of a shift in your abundance. That could be show up in a few different ways. It could show up in you being like gifted something, or um, maybe you end up like getting a raise, or you get an idea for a business. It could show up in so many different ways. That's the cool thing about doing this work, and especially working with your thoughts. And then if you can make this playful, right? Oftentimes we get in this headset of like, okay, I'm going to do this thing and it's going to be like so serious. If you can come into a mindset of where you're just going to play and see what happens, it is really amazing how you might be surprised at how things show up for you. And the reason for that is that, and I'll do another live about this sometime talking about this, but one of the things that I really go to all the time, it actually hangs on the wall in my office, is the map of consciousness. And if you don't know what the map of consciousness is, please look it up. It's from, he was a psychotherapist or psychologist, David R. Hawkins. He passed away a few years ago, but he wrote the book Power versus Force. If you haven't read that book, or you haven't, you can also listen to it on Audible. If you haven't come across that book, definitely look it up, read it. It's very dense, I'll tell you that much. But his work was all centered around this idea of the map of consciousness, that like we all have, energy, frequency, and most of humanity vibrates at a frequency below 200, meaning that they are stuck in cycles of shame, guilt, hatred, all of these like negative emotions, and they stay stuck in those cycles, and they keep spiraling downwards, or they stay at that low frequency until they realize and that there's more to life, right? Once you realize there's more to life and that you are the creator of your life, then that actually automatically brings your frequency and your awareness up. And the frequency of awareness of shifting is 200, and at 200 is courage, right? It takes courage to change. It takes courage to change ourselves, our thoughts, our emotions, our patterns, like everything that we've known our entire life. It takes courage to say, you know what? This isn't working for me. This is the life that I want. And in order for me to get there, I need to work on me, right? So, so one of the things that I always tell people is it's like taking radical responsibility for your life and where you are is actually incredibly empowering, because once you realize that it's on you and it's only on you and it's always been on you, you can take the reins and take control and figure out which way you want to steer the ship, so to speak. But in the map of consciousness, the very sort of like higher, there's the survival paradigm, which is where most of humanity spends a majority of their time. Then there's reason and integrity. That's when we start to like look at our life and go, I'm not liking this. Where do I want to go? Okay, let me actually do the work necessary to get there. And then the top of his map of consciousness is the spiritual paradigm. And that actually, I'm reading the map, is like love, joy, peace, and enlightenment is the very, very top. But in order for you to be in those places, the first thing is actually recognizing how your thoughts are creating your reality and what is it that you're not enjoying or liking about that reality. And then once you decide that, okay, these are the things that I don't like, this is actually what I want to create, then you can start to work on the thoughts to create that reality. Like, so going back to this idea of wanting to create better health, have a visual in mind or have something in mind in terms of what you're working on to create better health in your body, and connect with that as many times as you can on a daily basis. The second thing, and let's say finances, you want to create more financial abundance in your life, connect with the things in your life that you're grateful for, right? Gratitude emits a frequency, and that frequency actually allows you to attract more abundance into your life in all the ways. And here's what I'm going to suggest with any of this. Do it for 30 days. Get crystal clear on what you want to create in your health, in your finances, with your relationships. Get very, very clear on what it is, and then connect with those things every single day. Like, read it over for yourself, write this stuff down, read it over, and then actually visualize those things happening and then release it out into the universe. Trust that there is a power more intelligent than you or I that's allowing those things to come into being. And then be very delighted about how that stuff actually comes to pass. Like now, sometimes when I see things coming together in my life in a certain way, manifesting in a certain way, I actually laugh. I laugh out loud and I will say, thank you, universe. I saw that. And thank you for that. And just be really, really grateful for the fact that I'm having certain experiences in my life. And I know that those experiences would not have come to pass if I didn't show up every single day and do the meditation, do the gratitude work, do the work that is necessary for those things to come to be, and to become very, very mindful of my thoughts. So becoming mindful of your thoughts is actually the best way to start to change your outer reality. So as soon as you catch yourself thinking something that is not where you want to go, then you have to go, okay, what is the next better feeling thought? What is the next better feeling thought? And keep reminding yourself, it is a practice. Nobody is perfect at it. No one is perfect at it all the time. It's that you are able to have that ability to catch yourself, reframe, and start again, and have no judgment. That's the other thing. Judgment is a very low frequency. And so I personally make it a practice of mine not to judge what others are doing, or not judge where they're at in my life, or in their life rather, because it is not for me to say or do right? It is not. I don't know what their karma is. I don't know what their life journey is supposed to be, and they are playing whatever their part is in this incarnation. And so all I if I do anything, I just send them love. I just bless them. And it doesn't matter who it is on this planet, really doesn't. So I hope you found some value from this. And there's going to be a replay going up. This is going to be a regular thing I'm going to be doing a couple times a month. So stay tuned to the channel so that you know when I'm going live next. And I appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe so you see the live videos or the weekly videos that are coming up. And I am so excited to be on YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll see you in the next live stream. Bye for now.